Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique, and this week's video is brought to you by Hobby Lobby. So let's get ready for fall. It's time, don't you think? And Hobby Lobby has everything you need to make both of these beautiful, but let me point out, easy wreaths. And I'm all about easy and time-saving projects. So let's get our craft supplies together and let's make something beautiful. For the first project, you're going to grab one of these 3D pumpkin frames and a pillowcase. Yep, that's just a pillowcase. I have it on several pillows at home. So we're going to take it out of the package, we're going to unzip it, and then we are going to cut out basically the backing of your pillow. And this is the key. Do not cut the sweater part. I did cut a little hole and you'll see it here in a moment, but don't cut that part. Just be really, really careful. And then it also had a little bit more backing on the inside, so we took that off. And then I got this pack of needles, and I'm only going to use one of the needles for this project, but I thought that it was a handy piece of equipment to have. You're going to take that yarn that I just showed you, and I like to take a piece of like scotch tape or packing tape to wrap around the yarn, and this just helps me thread that needle. And then I'm going to cut like a little bit of an angle here, and that's how I'm going to thread the needle. That's just my little trick, and I really like doing it that way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get everything situated with our frame, and we want to make sure that our sweater look is just right with the center sweater kind of argyle look is in the center of this frame. I'm going to take some clothespins that you can get in the wood section in the back of Hobby Lobby. At least it's in the back of my store. So anyways, but you're going to need some of those, and they're really nice to have on hand. We're going to roll part of this top up a little bit, and here's a little place I had a little difficulty. I kind of went through some of the fabric instead of just the sweater part. So it's really important that you go through just the sweater part so that that yarn doesn't get stuck. All right, so then you're just going to tie it off because you got to have a starting point. And then we're going to just simply do a slip stitch. Is that the correct term? I'm not a seamstress, guys, and if I'm wrong on this term, just let me know in the comments below. That'll help me a lot. But we're going to do what I'm going to call a slip stitch all the way around our frame, and we're going to insert the needle about an inch apart, anywhere from like 3/4 to an inch. And as you can see, I am kind of pulling the sweater pillowcase a little bit more inward and making sure that this stays really tight across our frame. Now, I've seen people use real sweaters, but when I saw this pillowcase at Hobby Lobby, I thought this is perfect. And I love the pillowcase because I have it at my house as well. Alright, so now we're going to finish it off at the center. I'm going to add another little clothespin. Those clothespins are really super duper handy with crafting. I'm just telling you. And so we're going to use that, and we're going to add a few more stitches, and then we will tie it off. And then what I will do, so if you look at the back of this frame as I'm finishing this off, you kind of see in the corners we have some excess pillowcase. Now we don't want to cut that. That's a big no-no. We don't want to cut that. You're going to see the hole here that I created by accidentally cutting a little bit of that pillowcase, but it's our secret, right? We're not going to tell anybody. And what I want you to do is you can either use zip ties, or you can use the same method I'm doing right now. I'm going to kind of show you what I'm doing. You can use more of the yarn, and you can simply connect it, go through the sweater part, and then go underneath the wire frame. Don't go through the actual pillowcase sweater. It's kind of like what we're calling it, right? And because we don't want to see that on the front of our wreath. It's really important. So that way you can kind of tidy everything up. You don't want to cut the excess pieces of the pillowcase off of your frame. But I think she's super cute. So the next thing we're going to do is use this twine. You get it from the wedding section. And if you've been watching any of my crafting videos, you know I always have this on hand, and I just really like it. It's super helpful when I'm doing different projects like this. And I like the bleached twine look. So we're going to just tie it, make a little slip knot onto the top part of our frame here. I'm going to use that fine tip glue gun that I got at Hobby Lobby, and we are just going to wrap it around the top of that frame until we fill all the top layer surface. Okay, we're just going to keep going around and around. I'm going to add a little bit more glue here and there just to make sure that it stays put. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, when we get that done, we're going to like wrap it underneath. I'm going to add a little bit more glue, and now we're going to wrap it across of the frame because I wanted to have more of a solid look, and this really does help that. And so we're just going to keep wrapping it. I'll add a little bit more glue and then just keep wrapping it. Now, there's going to come a time here soon that I'm going to have to add more twine because I didn't cut enough, and that's okay. When we have these problems, we find the solutions, right? So we're going to keep wrapping, and then we're going to add a little bit more of the twine here. I like to use another clip, and they're just so helpful, right? And we are going to just slip knot it very close to where that clothespin is, so that where we knotted it will actually be behind the wreath. Now, if you're wondering, Julie, how am I going to hang this? There's going to be a little spot at the bottom of our stem that you can hang it from, so don't worry about that. You could also always add a pipe cleaner, little loop, or even a zip tie loop, and it will work perfectly. So I'm going to keep wrapping, and you're going to see the little spot here in a moment. And then we're just going to add a little bit more glue, and then we're going to connect the twine to the wreath frame itself with a zip tie, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. It's going to be pretty simple. So, but if you have a better way, then do it that way. You don't have to do it my way. So I'm also going to clip the very top of that little twine at the very top that I don't show you, but I do clip that off. I don't keep it. So here she is, super cute. Here is the fun part. It's the decor part. And we're simply going to take 3 fall foliage picks from the fall decor section at Hobby Lobby. We're just going to layer them. And we're going to keep this simple. This is going to be really, really pretty. And all we have to do is we just get it to the point of where we like it. And then I'm going to go through that kind of open spot, and we're going to zip tie it on the back. Isn't she pretty? I just love how she turns out. So when you get her to the point that you like where your foliage is laying, I'm just going to take a zip tie, and we're going to zip tie it to the back of the frame, and I'm going to zip tie it twice. I'm going to zip tie it here, and then I'm going to bend the wires of the foliage into the wreath form itself and add another zip tie, and then we'll clip off the end of them. Now, you're going to have to let me know in the comments which project you love better. Do you like the pumpkin wreath frame, or do you like the really super simple, easy, traditional fall wreath? So I hope you like both of these. They were so simple to make. Right here, I'm adding another zip tie just to get the leaves to lay down a little bit nicer, and the foliage will cover that part. So let's make our next project. What do you do when you get a grapevine wreath? Well, you give it a haircut. I do this every time I get a grapevine wreath, and I take off all the little sticks and twirly things that are kind of sticking out, because really it just kind of cleans up the look. You don't have to do this if you like the look of this, but it's just really something that I always do. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to get this kind of like wired twine, and it's wire and it's wrapped up with, I don't know if twine is the right word, but you get it in the section at Hobby Lobby in the florals, and they have wire, and that's where I got these wire cutters. And I'm going to cut about 6 pieces of them, and then we're going to add them in different spots. We're going to equally lay them and twist them a little bit in the wreath frame here, because this is what's going to attach our first layer of foliage, and that is a really pretty leaf garland that has lights in it. It was so cute. So this part of our project is kind of really special to me because I had my niece with me, and she recently got married, and so she kind of picked out the colors here, and I love it because it's going to go on her front door, so I'm really excited about that. They have batteries in it, so I'm just attaching it to the back of my wreath using a little bit more of that wire twine. And now we're just going to attach this and go around the wreath with the foliage, and I have the lights on. In the dark, you're going to see the lights a whole lot better. Of course, we have lights on this, but you're going to go around the surface of your wreath, and you are going to kind of overlap a little bit, and then we're going to edit a little and take away some of those leaves so that it's not too full on one side versus the other. But this is pretty straightforward, easy peasy lemon squeezy, as my little girl would say, right? So super simple, and I enjoyed making this because I made it in front of my niece so that she could learn how to make one herself. So have fun with it. And then this is where I believe I'm going to edit a little bit. We're going to take off a little bit of the leaves. So this is the first pampas grass that we're using. It's kind of like a rustic orange color, and we use, I believe, 3 of these, and I just kind of spaced them out, put a little bit of glue on the end, and added them in 3 different spots. Really simple. This is a wreath that you really can make within probably 30 minutes. So if you're looking for easy and quick, this is the one. Now then I took some white or ivory pampas grass, and this might be called bunny ears, I'm not sure, but it'll all be listed in the description box below. That's the thing. All of this is always listed in all the links so that you can go online to Hobby Lobby if you don't have a local Hobby Lobby. So again, it just makes it fun. Now these were my favorite. They have the little acorns on them, and I love that. And so we used 3 of these stems, added some glue on the end, and just put them sporadically through the wreath, kind of at the same distance apart. And then I just kind of spread out the stem, kind of like so that it can feel a little bit more organic. So make sure you do that. And I just love the feel of it. I think it's super, super cute. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get out our pumpkins. Now, I was a little skeptical how many pumpkins I wanted to put on this. So we decided on 3, but if you like a lot of pumpkins, have at it. They have a lot of different size pumpkins. This is more of a medium size. You can get smaller size pumpkins. You can get white pumpkins, more brown pumpkins. They had velvet pumpkins, and they also have like little knitted pumpkins. The last piece to this beautiful wreath are these pine cones. So we added about 6 of these. I shortened these stems up a little bit to make it a little bit easier to insert into my wreath. I just didn't need that long of a stem, but I think you're going to really like this. My niece absolutely loves it and is so excited about this project, and this wreath's going to look beautiful on her front door. You know the drill. If you made it this week all the way to the end of this video, leave me your favorite fall emoji in the comments, or tell me your favorite fall activity. But again, thank you Hobby Lobby for sponsoring this video on Julie's Wreath Boutique. And if you're watching and you're new, make sure to subscribe and come back next Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will craft something beautiful together.